I call to order this regular meeting of the Show Low Planning and Zoning Commission for Tuesday, October the 28th, 2025. Roll call shows that all commissioners, except for Commissioner Schneff, are present this evening. Next, we'll have the invocation given by Commissioner Adams, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Clark. If you'd like to join us, please stand.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for the opportunity we have to gather here today as citizens of this great community that we live in. We are very grateful for the moisture that has fallen on our land, and Father, if it be thy will, that we ask for more. We ask that thou would watch over and protect our first responders and our teachers, bless them with the things they stand in need of. We ask that thou would bless us with thy Spirit today, that we can make decisions that would be pleasing into the citizens of our community, that we might be able to help it grow in a manner that would be beneficial to them and pleasing towards thee. We're thankful for the many blessings that we enjoy, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Like to join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on the agenda is new business, with the first item under new business being item A, consideration of conditional use permit 602-04-278 submitted by Timothy Barber on behalf of the Barber Family Living Trust to allow for a guest house in conjunction with a residence located at 151 West Whipple, that being APN 210-30-020. And I'll turn it over to Ms. Celine for the staff summary report.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. A conditional use permit application has been submitted by Timothy Barber on behalf of the Barber Family Living Trust to allow for a guest house in conjunction with a residence located at 151 West Whipple, that being APN 210-30-020. Per the records from Navajo County, the subject property is 4.27 acres or 186,000 square feet and is zoned MH, manufactured housing. The applicant intends to construct a detached guest house with a living space of 1,121 square feet for a family member alongside their main residence, which will have 1,927 square feet of living area. According to City Code, guest houses are defined as living spaces that consist of one or more rooms designed and intended for occupancy as separate quarters. These include facilities for cooking, sleeping, and sanitation, and may be utilized for income purposes or not. It also states that both the principal unit and the guest house shall be served by a common single electric and water meter. The applicant plans to install a septic tank with a leach field and understands that he is required to connect to the city sewer system if it becomes available within 200 feet of his property line. Under City Code 19.60.030I, one additional single-family dwelling for the use of a guest house not to exceed the total living area of the main dwelling, provided the total intensity of the land shall be a minimum of 10,000 square feet of lot area per dwelling unit, is permitted with a valid conditional use permit. The conditional use permit application for the guest house located at 151 West Whipple, that being APN 210-30-020, submitted by Timothy Barber on behalf of the Barber Family Living Trust, meets all the necessary standards established by the city code, including minimum lot size and maximum guest house size. Finding of facts are Timothy Barber, on behalf of the Barber Family Living Trust, has submitted a conditional use permit application to allow for a guest house in conjunction with the residence at 151 West Whipple, that being APN 210-30-020. According to Navajo County records, the subject property is 4.27 acres or 186,000 square feet and is zoned MH. The applicant intends to construct a detached guest house with a living space of 1,121 square feet for a family member alongside their main residence, which will have 1,927 square feet of living area. According to city code, guest houses are defined as living spaces that consist of one or more rooms designed as and intended for occupancy as separate quarters. These include facilities for cooking, sleeping, and sanitation and may be utilized for income purposes or not. It also states that both of the principal and the guest houses shall be served by a common single electric and water meter. Under City Code 19.60.030I, one additional single-family dwelling for use as a guest house not to exceed the total living area of the main dwelling, provided that the total intensity of the land shall be a minimum of 10,000 square feet of lot area per dwelling unit, is permitted with a valid conditional use permit. The current zoning of the surrounding properties include north R17 single-family residential 7,000 square feet, south, east, west are MH, which is manufactured housing. The current land uses of the surrounding properties include north residential, south vacant residential, east vacant residential, west residential. Transmittal memos were sent to all effective agencies. The Public Works Director made a remark regarding the sewer connection, recommending that they extend it and connect to the sewer line prior to beginning construction. Connection to city sewer and abandonment of any septic system will be required when city sewer is within 200 feet of the subject property. The property was posted and letters were sent to all property owners within 300 feet of the subject property. Following distribution of the staff report, staff was contacted by 2 area property owners. One expressed support of the project. The other submitted a public records request and questioned access to the roadway easement on the west side of the subject property. Staff contacted the applicant, who indicated that they will not be utilizing the easement and will utilize access from West Whipple for their shared driveway. Staff recommendations. After reviewing the standards for review, findings of facts, discussions with the applicant, the City of Show Low zoning and land ordinances, the City of Show Low general plan, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve conditional use permit 602-04-278 submitted by Timothy Barber on behalf of the Barber Family Living Trust to allow for a guest house in conjunction with the residents at 151 West Whipple, that being APN 210-30-020, subject to the following conditions. All development shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, including building code and fire codes. The proposed guest house shall conform to all development standards of the zoning district in which it exists, including primary residence setbacks, and shall utilize a shared driveway and utility connections. A maximum of 1 dwelling unit per property may be utilized for income purposes. Connection to the city sewer system will be required if the city sewer system becomes available within 200 feet of the subject property. Primary access to the subject property shall utilize West Whipple. Director Tregaskis and the applicant are available for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Celine. I'll open it up to the commission members for questions for staff. Vice Chair Wilson.
I have one. So in all the time I've been doing this is the first time I saw about the city sewer. Would that have been a requirement had this applicant not filed to build a guest house?
Yes, it would. So city code requires if your property is within 200 feet of city sewer, that you are required to extend the line and connect to city sewer. In this case, that would be the requirement whether or not they were applying for a guest house. The city sewer is approximately 230 feet, give or take, from the subject property. So it's not going to take much to get it within that 200, which is why we wanted to make sure it was very clear up front, both with findings of fact as well as a condition of approval, that if that sewer ever does get extended, that they will have to abandon their leach field, abandon their septic tank, and connect to city sewer.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Adams.
Yeah, so in reviewing this, I'm just wondering if there's anything abnormal about this request in comparison to other guest house that we've done.
So as far as the guest house itself, no. The property is very large. It exceeds the minimum requirements for a guest house. They are having a primary dwelling unit on, which the guest house is actually a little bit smaller. City code, based on the size of the lot, says you can either match the size of the primary dwelling or be smaller than. In this case, they do that. The issue on it is the septic system, which is just a factor of where the property is located in relation to existing sewer that's already in place. And we do have the property owner here that is concerned about the roadway easement that is on the west side of the property line. They use that as their only access to the home, and they're concerned that this could potentially impact, which is why you saw that additional condition added, that they would use their driveway off of Whipple as their primary access and not that roadway easement that's along the west side.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? I guess I just have one. Can you just repeat, can we restate what that last condition was? Because it wasn't in the packet. I mean, is there a microphone over there? You don't have to go.
Oh, it's movable. The last condition, is that what you said?
Yes.
So primary access to the subject property shall utilize West Whipple.
Thank you. And is it standard, Director Tragaskis, is it part of city code that they require the shared driveway access when there is a guest house used? They can't have two separate?
That is correct. City code requires a shared driveway as well as shared utilities. So single water meter, single electric meter, single driveway.
Thank you for the clarification on that. Any other questions for staff? Any questions for the applicant? Got nothing? All right. I will open it up to an opportunity for members of the public. If they have any comment on this agenda item, now is the time. Just come up to the microphone. Make sure you state your name and address for the record for the minutes, please.
Renee Isaacs, 201 West Whipple Street.
Thank you.
I think the land to the east, though, that's going to be where the church property is, and it's showing it as vacant land, but that church is going to be built there. The roadway access, what we're concerned about is that they install a separate driveway with a culvert to access West Whipple, as opposed to using the roadway that's original intent was to access the property that we're on. So we don't have a problem with them having a guest house. We don't have a problem with them doing what they need to with their land, but that's going to put additional stress on that roadway if there's an additional house there. So if they would stipulate to that, we would be happy. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I could add, we did put on the overhead the site plan that was submitted as part of the application. That does show the shared driveway coming off of West Whipple for this location. So,
And the driveway Miss Isaac's talking about is to the left of the west here, right? I know it runs on that property line.
correct. So we have the subject property is here on the top part of the map. The driveway, the yellow line goes right over the top of it, but you can see there on the south end where that driveway kind of extends out. And you can see where it does go and access to the Isaacs property there, kind of at the bottom left of the picture, which would be southwest of the subject property.
So is that a private driveway?
The documentation that we have goes back to 1982, and it's what's called a warranty deed. Basically, that's when somebody buys a piece of property, you get this deed that describes what you're getting. In this case, they describe that as a road easement. We have not been able to find any additional documentation that goes prior to 1982. It has been utilized as a private easement for the Isaacs property. There have been no other properties that have utilized that up till currently and probably in the future, so.
If the applicant has any comment, you could come to the microphone. Just state your name and address for the record.
I'm Belinda Barber, 151 West Whipple, and we're under construction right now, and we're digging trenches, and we are going to put our own driveway in. But we have to dig a 500-foot trench for our power line. The power lady just came today and showed us where we can dig, so we're going to start digging this weekend. And as soon as we dig our trenches and figure out where the house in the front door is going to be, because I don't want the driveway coming right at my front door. I told my husband, no, that ain't happening. So as soon as we get done with most of the stuff, it's almost there, Renee, almost, we will dig our own driveway. Because we already talked to the city, Phil Martinez, we got the little stipulation on it. Has 5 feet of it has to be in level with Whipple. But we just have so much construction going on, we don't know where we're going to put the driveway yet. Does that make sense? Well, we are going to make our own driveway because we know when Kinley and Timmy build their house by us, we know that's going to be a lot more cars. And we don't want, because you've been having that whole driveway to yourself all these years, but just right now, and we drive maybe, 30 feet, and then we turn into ours. So it's just like the first 30 feet right now that we're using, and then we turn into ours. And it's actually, we saw the property pins. It's actually our property, but years ago, 82, whatever, we had to give them that easement so they could get, because they live, back farther. But we are planning to put our own driveway in. That's what Phil told us at City of Show Low, that it was because the property pin is actually on that side of the driveway down there. The property pin, like you said, the yellow line, that was originally a long time ago. So we just had to provide a driveway, not us, whoever owned it before. Right. So yeah, we're planning on building our own driveway, but we just have so many trenches. If we build a driveway now, we're just going to dig right through it.
You're planning to, as your plans state, because that's kind of what we're going off of, to put that driveway off of Whipple.
Oh, yeah.
Into the center or left or right of your property, and then you're going to abandon Isaac, driveway, so to speak.
The church has a roadway, they use it because sometimes they go out our land, they like to see what's going on at our.
Well, I think they'd want to go in where your cows are at, they might get run over.
I know, thankful for the police that just put them in our yard today because they got out of the gate. Anyway, so we're going to put it probably over near the church.
On the church
side? Yeah, on the church's side.
But you're going to stop with the Isaac's driveway, that you're going to gate off that, assume? Or are you going to continue to use that periodically?
I don't know.
As you've been doing?
Probably not, because we'll have our own driveway,
Yeah. That's kind of the big consternation here tonight, isn't it?
Yep, I think it is. I would be concerned too, because especially when they, start living there, which is probably a year from now or so, whenever they can start building their house, they're trying to get the loan and all that. But it's just David and I right now, but there's been so many construction vehicles, a lot, because there's 5. Yeah, framing. They just put the garage wood on today, so trusses are coming Thursday or Friday, and then we got to. So yeah, but we're gonna dig the big, long 500-foot to the power. We have to go to Whipple in the central of the corner, so we have to dig a 31 inches deep, at least a foot wide. So when that's put in our conduit and they run the electrical, and then we can backfill that, then we can put a driveway in, So, yeah, we are planning that. We really had a concern, but we never been back to your place, but you could come talk to us. We're really friendly.
If I may, it's just,
Yes.
So there's, the planning and zoning doesn't have any authority to require that she abandon an easement. If she chooses to use a different driveway, that is their decision. But I just want to make sure that's not a requirement.
We probably will. just because we're nice.
That's fine. I'm just saying that we can't require you to abandon an easement.
Because she has a lot of construction vehicles too. You know, you guys got a lot of rock in lately. Like 6 dump loads of trucks. So it's just been a lot of construction there right now. So it's been like, ah.
Thank you.
Hey, good.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
Can I clarify something?
Yes, you may.
I'll be quick. So that roadway through there, the original intent was to reach the back properties. We are now locked in by the city of Show Lo's properties. You guys own everything around us. The only way we can access is on that road. They have access from the front to Whipple, same as the Wallaces on our left. And that was the reason the roadway was put in. So as far as the roadway easement, it's not an easement. It is access to those properties that were originally there. So nobody had been using that. We put the road in. We were required to put the road in. All the damage that's happening to the road right now, nobody else is taking care of but us. The road has been destroyed on that side of the property. There's no culverts been put in, no snow removal. We've done all of that. So that's why that's a concern, is that they have their own access, especially with the additional cars that with an additional home. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion from the commission or any further questions? Another point?
Yeah, the
Be quick.
roadway, the part that we've used is not being ruined. We've upkept it because there's been erosion, like right at Whipple, because it is off of Whipple. We're entering off of Whipple. And we've put dirt in there, we've put rocks in there when it's eroded. We've taken care of the 30 feet that we've been using. We brought in a big dump truck of rock so that it wouldn't erode. You know, we've been taking care of it and upkeeping it, the little part that we use, to the best of our ability, you know, so that and I mean, they have a lot of construction trucks, way bigger than the ones we're bringing in, you know, so we're not ruining the driveway. We're not. We're not. I don't know where.
And may I just clarify, the warranty deed that Mr. Tregaskis has in reference to it calls this a road easement. We're not here to litigate or dictate what goes on with the easement. The conditional use permit, if the applicant is wanting to utilize a different driveway and is fine with that, as to the intent, is not expressed in the warranty deed. But if that's an issue between the owners of the easement.
Thank you, Ms. Atencio. I agree. I think my perspective would be that, you know, I think it's very generous of the property owners to stipulate that the primary access would be this additional driveway they plan to install on West Whipple. And then, to me, anything outside, as far as outside of kind of the context of this guest unit, as far as the use of that strip of property is kind of outside the scope of what the Planning and Zoning Commission can really speak to. And so I would just leave that between the property owners to kind of determine that. Is there any other further discussion among the commission on this agenda item?
No, but I can make a motion.
Vice Chair Wilson.
I move to approve CUP 602-04-278, submitted by Timothy Barber on behalf of the Barber Family Living Trust to allow for a guest house in conjunction with the residence located at 151 West Whipple, that being APN 210-30020, subject to staff recommendations.
Mr. Chair, if I could just clarify, that includes the condition which was introduced this evening, that the primary access would be off of West Whipple, is that?
Yes, to include that additional condition.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Wilson. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Whipple. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Director Tregaskis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As a reminder, there is a 7-day appeal period. If no appeal is received by the city clerk from a qualifying individual within those 7 days, this will become effective. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. We'll move on to item 6, call to the public. If there's any citizen wishing to speak on a matter within the jurisdiction of the Planning and Zoning Commission that's not on the agenda this evening, you may do so at this time. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 7, approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion on the approval of the minutes from the Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting of Tuesday, September the 23rd, 2025? I have a motion by Vice Chair Wilson. Do I have a second? I have a second by Commissioner Clark. All those in favor say aye. Aye. That passes unanimously. Moving on to item 8, summary of current events. We'll begin with Commissioner Hatch.
Great Dane Shello.
Holidays are coming. Let's enjoy the festivities and fun times. Everybody have a good fall.
Just a reminder that in a normal year, we would have winter road conditions. To be mindful of that, just in case we actually get a winter this year.
Saturday, November 8th, the Show Police Department is honoring our fallen officer, Darren Reed, at 6 p.m. Refreshments will be served if you want to come out and help support that cause.
Thank you, Vice Chair Wilson. And I'll just add Halloween coming up this weekend. Just as you're traveling around, make sure you're watching out for little ones on the roads, running out in front of cars. So we just want to make sure everybody stays safe this weekend. Director Tregaskis.
Just a couple things. Want to echo what Chairman has just said about watching out for kids. When there's candy involved, common sense kind of goes out the window. They tend to run around and dart around, and sometimes are hard to see in their costumes. So just keep an eye out and be a little more cognizant of what's going on around you. Also, if you haven't had a chance yet, we do have the Scarecrow Walk down in the city meadow. I think there's over 90 of them there. My wife and I went actually Saturday morning before it got too crowded and really enjoyed that. Quite a few creative individuals. So if you've got time and are so inclined, would invite the public to go take a look at that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Director. Seeing no other items on the agenda, I will adjourn us.